Theatre West is a pretty old organization by now. It started in 1962, and I came in after they moved to the current space. What it had been was a sound stage for Hanna-Barbera across the street. The stage was also made larger. We had 200 seats, and we reduced it by 40 seats to make the stage larger. The workshop was something we couldn't do without, because that's where you learn. Well, the philosophy started out with all the members who came from New York, people who had been successful New York players, came out here to do movies, but they missed theater. And they needed a place to practice, to grow. And this was to be the place to get better. And so the philosophy was, try to do something that you would not be cast for. You grow by stretching your capabilities in directions you wouldn't have thought of. At that time, we weren't allowed to have an audience of people who were in the industry. The whole purpose was to be able to expand your range and not be afraid to try something that isn't just you. People would bring in a piece they've written and cast it and perform it. It was developing it and developing it. Sometimes it takes work, and your fellow members will help you get there. One of the shows that brought a lot of people of some note, of some fame, was A Bronx Tale, which Chaz Palminteri created in front of our eyes week after week on the Actors Workshop and the Writers Workshop, adding a little bit, and we cheered him on and critiqued it and said where it was good and where it wasn't. And Mark Travis was the moderator at the time, and he did a marvelous job of guiding him through. And in his final creation, which he showed the public, Robert De Niro and some other famous people came to see it and eventually bought it and produced it for a movie. And it's been created into a musical on Broadway, and that's what can happen. Betty Garrett's musical workshop was such a gift for all of us. The way she conducted it, what we all learned, how much we respected what she said. The way she did it was, the first half hour was on stage doing physical exercises, dance exercises. And that was great. And then we'd do a warm-up, and then a musical singing warm-up, and then people would do individual performances. And we always had super accompanists. I felt like I really had no business being there because I never considered myself a singer of any kind. And but I went because I loved to hear everybody else, and I got up with everybody else for the warm-up, vocal warm-up, and then sat down and listened to everybody else sing and hear Betty's comments, which were pretty remarkable. They were always not so much about the voice, although she certainly knew how to do that too, but about the performance. It took me 4 years of sitting there after the warm-up and just listening. Eventually, Betty got me to do something, and I started with almost hardly being heard. And I learned a lot. I did learn how to perform a song. We used to have an 11 o'clock Tuesday morning Shakespeare class with Janet Brandt. She knew Shakespeare backwards and forwards. But then Nick McDowell started one, and it has taken off. And Nick is just, he loves Shakespeare so deeply and knows so much about it and has such generous enthusiasm. I've had the best time on Zoom. I had Monday night at 7 o'clock. I hooked up to the acting workshop. Tuesday night, I've attended the writer's workshop. Thursday night is the Shakespeare workshop, which has been, it's just been wonderful to see the growth in everybody. Saturday afternoon with Michael Van Dusen, going into depth exploration of a whole play, and it's so exciting. And Michael was so knowledgeable. I was lucky and terrified, actually, to be cast in Storybook Theater's Jack and the Beanstalk as the mom. That was just a wonderful experience for me. I'm very proud to have been a part of Storybook Theater. These little kids coming and just sitting there enthralled and participating and getting up there and being part of it. And it's adorable. I brought my grandchildren. It's been such a delightful work that Lloyd and Barbara put together. Spoon River was legendary at Theater West. Before Theater West had a performance home, it was done at UCLA, as were all their early plays. I always heard Spoon River, Spoon River, Spoon River. And finally I saw a revival of it. And then there was another revival many years later, and still with Lee Merriweather, although she had been an understudy when they moved to Broadway, and she went to New York. You know, we've gone through all kinds of ups and downs at Theater West. It takes a lot of heart. These boards have been tread by a lot of people that were just film figures to you. And then there are those of us who you haven't known, but you can come to see us and get to know us. And that would be lovely.